Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson and you are watching my Let's Play for Mindustry, or Mindustry, however you want to pronounce that. We're continuing on with the campaign, this time on level 7, which is going to be Tar Fields. Now Tar Fields is kind of a deserty zone. It does not have any water on it, but it does have oil, so oil allows us to do a bunch of interesting things. In particular, I'm excited because I can use it to generate a significant amount of power, and I'll explain once we get into it. Now for this mission, we also have access to Thorium. Now Thorium is the last resource, which is just a base resource, but then you can also craft it into Surge Alloy and Phase Fabric, the two remaining ingredients. So we actually have 3 different things we can unlock on this map, so I'm going to be trying to gather as much as I possibly can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend this mission gathering as much thorium as possible and launching it with launch pads to get the research for Alloy Smelter, which allows us to make Surge Alloy as well, and it costs a lot of resources. It's very difficult to make. But then Surge Alloy is, that is. So we have to gather a lot of resources to be able to support that. And then we also have Phase Weavers, which this costs a lot of sand, and it costs a pretty decent amount of thorium. Now, this mission has a pretty decent amount of thorium on it, and it has a pretty decent amount of sand, so this isn't really too much of a problem. We'll be able to create a lot of Phase Fabric, which is great. Now, I don't think I'm going to be doing the research for Phase Fabric and Surge Alloy in the middle of this mission. I'm just going to get the ability to craft it, and I'll send that to base. But Thorium, meanwhile, I will be launching to get research like this, as well as a couple other things. In particular, like a Thorium Reactor, which we will use to make power, as well as, in particular, the Oil Extractor and the Air Blast drills. We have better drills. And what we'll be able to do with that is I'll be able to make power using oil. This is a very interesting thing. If I can launch up to 720 thorium, then as soon as I do that, I'll be able to make a lot of free power. It'll be really, really nuts. I actually have a lot of different options to make power on this mission, so it'll be kind of exciting. Also, interesting thing to note is that water, we don't have any water on this map, but we do have water extractors. And now that we have unlocked thorium tech, I will be able to generate power out of nothing, basically. As long as I have space and I have the base resources needed to just craft the buildings, I can just make power for days. That'll make sense once we get into it, but basically as long as we have sand or scrap or oil, I can make lots and lots of power. And that'll make sense once we get into it. And basically, if you have power, it takes power to make power, is kind of what ends up happening. So as long as I have a good base, then I can just be like boom, 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 and suddenly I have 20k power. It's not a problem. And with a lot of power, you can have all the water extractors you want. Like these cost 60 power a piece, so it's kind of expensive. But it doesn't matter if you have all this power. So anyways, this mission's going to be exciting. I'll be able to have like crazy amounts of electricity. Probably for ground, I'll end up using Lancers or something. And then I'll have a whole bunch of anti-air. Now, I might end up doing Blast Compound. We'll see. I probably will have to. I'll probably have to do something like that because we're going to need to be able to attack stuff. What can Swarmers, what other things can they use? That's pretty much it. I'm going to need a lot of lead for this mission, so that's why I'm mulling about that. It's going to be awkward to make those things. Alright, so here we go, though. Continuing on with this mission, also one quick final note is in order to unlock the next mission, I do need to complete Wave 20 on Tar Fields. So, we're going to go ahead and do that. So here we go. Level 7, Tar Fields. Oh, yeah. Coal. I was going to start making power right here and then route it up there, but this costs lead as well. Yeah, in fact, it costs 3 lead. Copper's, like, super cheap. So it's cheaper to do this. I'm going to make a couple trips like this. This is horrible, but better than nothing. So what's going to happen is this is going to burn, and it will start creating a dude there. They actually updated it now, so that these guys, these Drog Miner drones, will not take power after they've already been completed. So once this is done, it will just stop requiring power. And one thing to note about that, I am going to try and make a bunch of these guys right here. So that's all well and good, but what I actually want to do is I don't want to connect power to it so that it just continues only building this one. I'm not actually sure like how fast these little guys will actually mine lead compared to me, because they're going back and forth. I think they actually hold half as much as what I think it is. So the capacity they have on their person is like... Or maybe it's the same. Maybe it's the same capacity, but they mine slower for sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build one more of these. And then I'm going to mine copper for a sec. And then I'm going to go to the defense. Now, something interesting to know is I do... I want to get oil as soon as possible. Oil needs titanium. What I was thinking is I might actually not get metaglass pretty early because there's things like this. So for example, I'm paused right now, but I can right-click all these guys can clear that just so I'm not actually doing it. But if I gobble all these up and sacrifice them, then I'll get a bunch of titanium. And so these all have titanium on them, for example, and these all have metaglass on them. So if I get all this metaglass from all this, I can then take oil somewhere, maybe even here, I don't know. I'll probably do it somewhere to the left. And like all this stuff right here, all this wave turrets and everything, if I destroy all these and then use this metaglass somewhere else, I can actually turn that into power. It requires titanium and graphite and silicone, I guess, would be the other things I need. But anyways, just the point being that I can skip metaglass at the very beginning, because I can use that. Alright, so enemies come from up here, the top right always for this map as far as I know. I'm actually not aware of them coming from the top left at all. I think that enemies can technically go through here, but they usually don't, as long as you don't, like, super block, as long as you don't block this off completely, ground units never go through here. Air, from what I found, I haven't actually seen them go to the left at all. They always come right through here. It's actually kind of awkward. They kind of come right here, so it's a little bit weird. So what I'd like to do is have air, like, all the way through here, I guess. So this is all going to be anti-air. Anti-ground, on the other hand, what I've found is, on this map, what I like to do is do something like this. Oops, okay, a lot of copper. I think what they do is they generally just get whatever's lower. So if I get a whole bunch of copper, then they'll go get lead. The reason they came over here is because I ran out, because I was building. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if enemies can actually attack through this little gap right here. I don't know if that's a thing. Okay, so what's cool about this is that now I have this perfectly even dealio right here. Like I can have another row of towers right here that's lined up with this. As long as I make sure my copper stays pretty high, then it's not possible for them to not be getting lead, I guess. Stop getting copper. I think I'm gonna finish making air defenses real quick. And I actually have a nice schematic for scatters right here, so I can just throw them down. And I could actually fill them up with scrap, I guess. That's another option, rather than lead. These bros I have at bases, they only will mine stuff whatever I'm out of. So, like, they're on copper right now because I'm out of copper. But as soon as I run out of copper, or yeah, as soon as I run out of lead, they'll switch to lead, all of them. So they don't like evenly distribute everything. They just get whatever's lowest. So it's not necessarily the greatest. I probably don't even really need to defend anymore. Like, I can just run away. I'll have to come back and replace these copper walls every once in a while, but other than that, I'm doing good. I think, just to be safe though, I'm going to do this. Let's see how much they drop off. It's probably hard to tell. There's one guy right here, so it's 304. Okay, he had 30 on him, or 32. Okay, it seems like they do. The capacity is about the same as me. They don't drill as fast, though. So they do bring about between 30 and 40 at a time. Alright, okay, graphite 1. Am I going to use this for any crafting stuff? Maybe just keep it simple, I'll just keep it nice and straight. So I'm going to have a whole bunch of conveyors just like going straight to base, basically. So once I start getting graphite going to base, I can make pneumatic drills and I can start getting titanium. Once I get that, I can start having titanium belts. Let's destroy things. I guess I could just go ahead and start replacing it now. I hate to be blowing up this product, but... Alright. So, this is going to start getting to the base, and I'm going to start making some of this. Okay, this will bring titanium to the base. It looks like I have like 80-some titanium remaining. It should be enough to get me... Oh, close to the base at the very least. Yeah, nice. Sweet. See, I had just enough titanium. Yeah, 13 left. I had just enough titanium to get me a conveyor belt of titanium back to base. So that was cool. Alright, so that's great. Have these guys... Oh, I never got finished. You know, there's not power over here. None of those are powered at all. Great. So what's going to happen is I am actually going to be making surge alloy later, and I need 4 lead per 1 second or something like that, times 8. So... a lot. And then I need 3 copper per second times 8. So that's in addition to everything else I'm building. That's just straight up just to make surge alloy. This is just kind of temporary defenses. I'm not necessarily like expecting this to be the thing I'm going to use the whole time. Okay, so this is cool because what it does, it goes into the distributor and it fills all these guys up and then it spits it out afterwards. So we have titanium, we have graphite, time for silicone. I'm just gonna use all my graphite. Okay, I think I'll do it like over top of the scrap, maybe? I don't know. See, scrap is sort of interesting because I could separate it, but I don't know that I care. That would just be more for additional titanium, I guess. I don't think it's going to matter. I'm going to use power for that. There's thorium here, though. I shouldn't cover up the thorium, though. So that's one thing that's important. So I have enough room for thorium still. And then silicone can be expanded over this way later. And then what we'll do is I'll just make a bunch of sand way over here. We don't even need it close. Doesn't matter. All right, so this is like overkill as far as the amount of sand I'm getting. However, what this will do is we need twice as much sand as we need coal. And I might as well just make it right now. It doesn't cost me anything. Like, I have a decent amount of titanium and copper and lead, so this doesn't... Me making all these belts doesn't cost anything. This just costs copper, which is free at this point. So I might as well just make a crazy amount of this. Like, yeah, this didn't cost me anything more, basically. It's free. Okay, so let's connect one of these, and then we'll make a belt leading to base. I know it's kind of a roundabout way of doing it. I'm just trying to leave lots and lots of room for crafting in case I need to put stuff through here, is why. Again, I have this philosophy as far as this game goes that distance doesn't matter. If it's a long path, it doesn't matter. It takes it a little bit longer to get there, but so what? I'm actually using up all my titanium. That's fine, because I'm right at the base and there's more going into it as we speak. Oh. 4. Boom. I ran out. Sweet. I had exactly the right amount, like, as it was going in, I had exactly the right amount. Okay, let's see. There's enemies? Oh, they're attacking my lead line. Alright. Well, that's a problem. Fine. So I also do want to just make sure I have more than enough anti-air over here, too. I don't expect stragglers to go over here. I think they all just come through here. Eventually, what I could do is I could do things like ripples or something over here, and they'll just blast. Like, if I keep them far enough back that they shoot all this stuff way before they ever get here. But again, I want to keep the anti-air where there's air coming, I guess. It's actually kind of cool. Like, I just take it and just go... bloop. There you go. And it just, like, becomes part of the line. That's kind of cool. I think this will be right. So not burning as many. So this is 60 power a piece. These cost 30. So as long as I have... I should be able to power 4. I could temporarily put more coal going up. I don't really want to do that. Okay, so at this point, I have silicone. I think I can actually start making power now. So what's going to happen is I'm going to place this and then pause and go like this. I think I have enough. Yeah, sweet. Okay, so this is going to be great. Let's see. Rotary pump. Ooh, it takes a lot of metaglass. Okay. I just need enough. Okay. And now I need a little bit of coal for power, temporarily. Combustion generator. Okay, so what's going to happen, this is going to be a little bit of a complicated explanation. So what happened is, so I have a rotary pump, this can go over liquid, so this is a pile of, or this is a pool of oil. So what I did is I'm pumping oil. It costs 9 power to power this, and then it pumps oil through this pipe. This pipe can hold, or it moves liquid very quickly. So I have the upgraded pipe, which costs metaglass and titanium. I sacrificed some titanium earlier to make these, so I actually have just enough to do this. So what this is it says putting oil into a coal centrifuge, which I haven't used yet. This costs 48 power, I think it is off the top of my head. And if you put oil into it, it creates coal. So coal is now going into 2 steam generators, and they have a water extractor right next to it. This creates just a small amount of water, creates 7.8. These cost 3 per second. So this makes just a smidge more water than what you need for this. But anyways, both of these 2 cost power, and this costs power too. But this generates 320 power apiece. So anyways, I generated 60 power here. These are generating 320. This subtracts 50. This subtracts 48. This subtracts 9 or whatever. But now that it's running, it's up and running, I have power. So I can just disconnect this. I have a solar panel there. I didn't mean to do that. That was... okay. Oops. So now I can just go like this. This costs silicone and graphite primarily to do this. I'm actually not sure if it costs metaglass. I don't actually know. I'm sure that these do, though. Once you get this going, you can just add more. And it takes power to get it started because you have to fire these up, and it takes a little bit of metaglass and a little bit of power from this. Each side of this has to be connected. So there we go. Now both sides are connected. And now I can do the same thing again. Flip it once more. Oh, it costs graphite. I'm just really low on graphite. Well, regardless, look at my power now. So I have 2,000 power, which is, that's really good. So I don't need to be burning my coal anymore. I can turn this all into something else, such as the silicone in the top right. Anyway, but now I have power, so that's amazing. So check this out. So I can do something like this. Boom, boom. Oh, what happened? Air is coming up here? Is that what just happened? Alright, well, maybe I'm mistaken as far as where the air goes. I'm not sure when that happened. Did it just come up through here? Like, what happened there? Oh yeah, they damaged this a little bit. So they flew over this and damaged these. So now that I have some air right here, that should help a lot. Some of these might get damaged, but I'm not too worried about it. Alright, so here's a fun fact too. So I have like crazy amounts of power now. I'm limited by graphite at the moment. So I can do funny things, like I can have water all over the place because I can make water extractors, which again just cost water, or just cost energy. So I can make water out of energy whenever I want. Okay, so now I can power all these. I don't need these ones. Whoops. And here's another fun thing. Again, so I have power now, right? So this guy, for example, costs silicone and titanium. It drills a lot faster than these guys do. So if I do something funny like this, check this out. I was thinking I had metaglass. Grr. Fine, whatever. I have power though, so it's fine. Okay, so this made a lot more, although once I have metaglass, and you don't even need that much, honestly, for metaglass. It doesn't take very much to do it. I'm making it way down here so I can expand it if I want to. I don't think I need any more than this. The same thing I did with the silicone. I'm just going to make a whole bunch of these. This doesn't matter. This just costs copper. Who cares? This costs a little bit of titanium, but it's fine. And what we can do is I can do this, again, this trick of both of these into a router. So there's sand and lead. Alright, so we got lead right here. Okay, so what we can do here is check this out. Is it takes all the extra lead that I have down here, only if it's not feeding these anti-air. So if the air is full of lead, then it will send lead down here. The graphite keeps being my bottleneck, so I'm going to increase my graphite production. It'll be like 3 times as efficient as it is right now. Okay, so here's this. Oh, speaking of which, yeah, I have bad drills. Tech tree, I currently have 34. Okay, let's wait for a bit. Okay, this brings power to the defense. So this allows me to make menders, among other things. Alright, so now I have power to all the metaglass. Yay, it's sending it to base, so that'll be wonderful, and then that will allow me to route water over to the defense. So I have some water right here, which is great. I might even turn it into cryofluid, because I have a lot of titanium right here. So let's see, titanium. I need titanium as well. My power is looking great. I've used like 500. This costs 175 graphite to make this. So what is my current graphite at? Not enough. The other thing I can do is I can improve my coal right here. I'm actually not too worried about it. Another thing I can do is I can just take this oil and turn it all into coal. So like I don't have to worry about like getting every single scrap of coal because I can just make coal. Because again, coal just costs power to make. It costs oil and power to make. Also, I have all this coal over here. Like, I'm not using it for anything else. I could either turn this into power. Maybe that's a thing I could do. Maybe I'll finish these up. All these cost graphite too, so I just wasted a bunch of graphite. Okay, so check this out. So I'm going to blow all this up. So arcs are really good close-range defense. So they're only effective close. You can only use them close. But if I do them in a cluster like this, where they're in sets of 4, then they match the shape of other things. So what these do too is they cost power only when they fire. So as long as I have enough power to support this, then they'll fire. Like the reason you don't want to drop below your power, so say this cost 1,000 power to fire. I want to make sure I have at least 1,000 power because otherwise what happens is they'll get negative power. That can be a problem because it can do things like make it so that all of your, like these stop working, but then also all your drills stop working and all of your, I don't know, like what happens if, this actually wouldn't happen, but what if it took all the power away from this water generator so then it's no longer generating power with these steam generators and all of a sudden all this oil power just stops? Does that make sense? I have to make sure that I have enough bonus power left over. So a couple ways you can deal with that is you can have batteries and that stores power, so it just pulls it from the batteries if it draws below. So like when it has an abundance of power, it fills the batteries. When there's a deficit of power, it subtracts it from the battery temporarily. So that's probably what I'll have to do at some point. I just don't want to spend money on that right now. Do like this. Boom, boom. Now these cost 90 power. I think this costs power all the time. I'm not sure if they only cost power when they pulse, or if like they cost power all the time. And I forgot to check. I wanted to see if the towers that were in this corner got damaged, if they could attack through this corner or not. I don't think they could. Also, FYI, if you're building and an enemy hits it, it'll blow it up. There we go. Check this out. And you didn't even see, like, these guys are longer range, as you can see, the Lancers are. and now they're going to be attacking faster now they have water going to them. But these guys are much closer range, but there's a lot more of them. Anyway, if they get within here, they're like, kabam! And these guys just chain lightning them to death, and it's great. You can throw a battery like up here or something. That's actually probably good. Like, that's more than enough to defend with. I do have to watch it. Like, I do got to make sure that I'm positive power just in general. All right, great. I probably have more than enough graphite now. Okay, so what this does is I use a bridge here, and the reason is because a bridge output, you can't put stuff into it. If I put a router here, then it would try to put graphite into it. So instead, what I'm doing is I'm sort of basically routing here and then making it go both directions. Anyway, so these have water. They take 1.5 or water extractors worth of water. So I have one in between. It's splitting between them. This one is only for this guy. This guy's on that one that costs power to do it. It's actually kind of expensive power-wise, but look at my graphite. It's like way nice now. Well, you actually couldn't see what the old amount was, but anyways, this is like triple the amount of graphite that I had before. Now, something else to know is I do have a nasty air boss at wave, I think it's 30? I don't think it's at 15. It could be. We'll see after this gets done. I might have a nasty air boss, and that would be horrible. So I do need to have better air defenses before then. Let's increase our... Oh yeah, I was going to do this. So this boosts how effective they are. It makes them pump 2.5 times faster, so now I'm producing a whole bunch of coal. Oil, this goes into a coal centrifuge. So that costs power. I'm actually not sure how much that costs. This is 9, these are 48 a piece, I think, or something like that. I'm not actually sure. So what I just did is I made it so that coal goes in this way, and then it goes in this way as well. Goes across, and then it goes in, they both go into this router. That makes them both spit out to the right. This just mainly costs graphite. Graphite and silicone, but it's primarily graphite. So this is kind of gross. Like, as you can see, this is the only power generation I have, but it's kind of gross. So these are still just copper ones. Let's go ahead and make these lasers. Yeah, I don't even know how much that cost, but a lot. Okay, so this is a lot of coal coming this way. So now this should supply this pretty well. So see what I mean, though? This is like a whole conveyor belt filled of coal. And that cost a lot of power. Like, this is actually quite a bit. I think these cost 50 or 60 power a piece, and these cost 60 as well. So we have quite a bit of power consumed here. But again, this gives me a bunch of graphite, and that will allow me to make more of this stuff. So it's just good. Distributor. This is probably too much to even fit on a conveyor belt. Yeah, just a little bit. So I can't even hold that much. Let's get some thorium going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to launch these. Thorium can only be drilled with a laser drill. I know it's kind of weird. What I'm telling it to do, put all in here and then distribute over. So everything goes in, then it spits it out over here. This evenly distributes it amongst 3 of these guys. Now the reason that's cool is because what it does is it will make sure that all 3 of these are running at the same time. Okay, so I'm launching tons and tons of thorium. Oh wow, that's nowhere near as much production as I was expecting. Never mind. I was envisioning in my head that it'd be super, super full. Oh, you know what? I think this broke. If I go like this. There we go. Yeah, okay, this one wasn't firing because this was an output and not an input. So now I made them both inputs. So now it's finally unloaded. I need plastanium in order to get an overdrive projector, but I can throw one of those right here later. What's my power looking like? 2,000. Wow, see, I've already used a couple thousand. Laser drills, man. They're expensive. Is there more thorium up here? I don't think so. I think there's this patch, there's that patch, and is there one more? Or is that it? It might be the only thorium on the map. This is expensive to do this. It's like not very efficient at all. Is there scrap underneath? There is not. Titanium would be a good thing to increase. I'm going to need more power. Do I have the capability of getting better drills? Pumps. Pumps is what I meant to say. It's down this way. Here we go. Thermal pump. Thermal pump costs thorium. Oh, okay. Have these nice clean lines going to the base. Except for metaglass, but whatever, it's fine. I guess I really need plastanium is going to be the next thing I really need. Titanium and oil. Look at these. Phase fabric would be my next thing that I'd want. With a phase weaver. I'm trying to get to... what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to the point where I can make cyclones. Or swarmers. This requires plastanium. So, if I can make this, then I can defeat some air units with this. I don't know. See, they have these air bosses that are they just hurt. They hurt really bad. So I'm thinking what I'd like to do is make these guys. And I can either make glass compound. I'm thinking what I might do, honestly. This is better. I might just make plastanium instead. Make lots and lots of plastanium. It costs a lot of oil and a lot of titanium. But if I just boost the heck out of my titanium... So my thought is that glass compound is just like is good, but it's not as good as Plastanium as far as an ammo type. Surge Alloy is better overall, however it's very difficult to make and I'm going to be launching it all. I don't need any more Plastanium for anything. I'm just using Plastanium as ammo for everything. I'm going to need Plastanium for my base anyways, but if I use half of it for ammo or something, or like overflow it from the defense over to the base, then I'll be able to have a whole bunch of ammo and I'll make some really, really strong towers. Okay, so I need titanium and I need oil. Now, do I have thorium going to the base yet? I do. So, let's go ahead and break this. Okay, this makes 90 oil. Also, actually, what is this enemy? Okay, nothing. It's fine. They're gonna blow up. In fact, maybe I should just watch that, just so you can see. I need some builder drones. This is getting ridiculous. Builder drones cost silicone and lead, I think it is. Boom. But yeah, they increase the speed of stuff like this. And then if this overflows, it goes left. There we go. Okay, so I have one overflow valve here for titanium. Oh, there's no oil. There's no power to this? Oh, I never connected it. Well, that would help. I didn't connect it because I didn't want it to leak all over the ground if I had an open dealio there. Alright. So my oil should be great, actually. Okay, so what's going to happen is I think I actually want to go, like, this way first. And what I can do here is I can have an entire conveyor of titanium. Ooh, what am I out of? I'm out of titanium. Well, that's why I'm doing all this, you know? This is overflow titanium anyways, this particular belt is. So let's just go like this. Alright, I might have to, like, hijack this silicone line or something. Because if I have two titanium ones next to each other, I can evenly distribute it. How's my power doing? Whoa. Okay, I really need power. I only have 40. Yikes. So close. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Don't do that. Okay, how's my oil pressure? Looks like it's pretty good. So I'll just, once again, move over the metal glass input. Ah, look at that. So now, once I have all this stuff here, I'll be able to make really good air defenses. Thermal pumps, that's what I was trying to do. Okay, I have way more than enough oil, so that's great. Overdrive projectors! So check this out. We go boom, and then it's not hitting these ones. So like right about here, we'll hit the remaining ones. Now watch what happens with my power. So I'm making 2,000 power or so. Okay, so it just went up a little bit, you know? So what'll happen is this will just like increase my power a ton. I have all the, because now I can pump so much oil, I can just make tons and tons of this. Also, I think I can even overcharge the pumps. So if I throw another one like over here, or just even at the top somewhere. And you can overcharge just about anything. I think you can even do production buildings. So you can do like, I can do this on my Plastanium, for example, to make it produce even faster. It costs 210 power, so it's kind of expensive as far as that goes, but it doesn't matter. Like, I have so much of this stuff that it's fine. Okay, so I'm evenly distributing some of this oil, but it doesn't matter, I have more than enough over here. I think that these pipes can only carry so much. I think it bottlenecks at these routers, for example. I think that it doesn't actually let oil flow through, so it's, like, say the capacity of this is only 50 or whatever it is, I don't know. So, like, I can only make this path so long before it just starts running out of oil. It doesn't matter how much I'm pumping into it, because this only has a capacity, just like belts, you know, there's a certain capacity to this conduit. So I'm at just shy of 17k power, which is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get more titanium coming. I think what I need to do... Man. Just backed up so much. Let's go ahead and move the silicone over. This will become the new silicone, and I'll make that other one titanium. I want to have, like, about at least two full belts of titanium before the end of the map. Oh, wait, what's going on here? That didn't do what I wanted to do. There we go. Whew, that was almost dangerous. Water extractor. Another water extractor. And another water extractor. Whew. Okay, you're probably asking yourself, like, why are you getting so much titanium? And the reason is because we're going to be creating surge alloy here soon. I need at least 2 full conveyors, at least, just to even support that. All right, what's my power looking like? 216. So I used 1,000 in the last little bit. I think what I need to do, 2 things. I can scramble to try and get So I can start getting phase fabric as soon as possible. That's probably going to be good. I need to have better defenses before wave 30. Wave 30 is a boss, or a lot of titanium. So I need titanium for crafting surge alloy, and I need it for making cryo fluid for the defense. I guess I could do that. What if I made this all go towards the defense? And I could backflow it back towards base or something if I need to. Now I have cryo fluid that can go up here. Now that doesn't actually take that much titanium, so I can overflow it back to the base. Also, let's finish getting all the thorium research real quick. Air blast drill, bigger drills, which is awesome. Oil extractor, which is awesome. You can make oil out of thin air, kind of. You throw sand into it and water, and it allows you to make oil. It's an alternative to if you can't actually pump oil somewhere, but there's some amazing generators you can make with that as well. Thorium walls, which is great. A fuse, whatever. That's just it's like a shotgun tower. It costs... Yeah, it only takes graphite, which I think is kind of weird. I've seen some people really like it. I don't really know how it works, I guess. A vault is a bigger container. It's actually pretty cool. In fact, we can use it to expand our base, which I'll explain. Phantom Builder Drone, which is that thing I was talking about earlier that I wanted. Thorium Reactor for power consuming thorium. Now, we don't actually have as much thorium as I would like, so that's not it's not great. I can go ahead and send all this forward, is what I'm thinking. Actually, I should have waited until it was done launching. That would have been smarter. So next, phase fabric. Phase fabric takes thorium and sand. I'm thinking I want to get phase fabric coming. So we have a thing for phase fabric. This is getting crazy. I really don't have much time left. I have until wave 30, until the guys get kind of nasty. So then I have power, like powers whatever. So that's the technical term there. Powers whatever. I really need some phantom builder drones. This is just getting nuts. What those do is they will follow you around and they help build things with you. Okay, so what this does, this is kind of crazy, this is confusing, so I'll explain it. So thorium goes in here, and it says, hey, if it's, this is a sorter, it says, if it's phase fabric, go forward. If it's not a phase fabric, then go side to side. So then thorium goes into this, then it goes to the side, and it says, hey, is it lead? Continue onwards. If it's not, go side to side. So then it goes into both of these. So thorium comes in, goes bloop, bloop, and then it goes forward. And then it hits this and it can't go forwards, then it goes to the side, and it can't go forward here either, so it goes side to side. Meanwhile, phase fabric goes into this, and it says, hey, is it lead? It's not. So then it goes over here. And then this actually, it's kind of weird. It tells it to go forward, but then it can't go into this, so then it just goes down. I don't know. Anyways, you can't do any more than this. You can have just an intersection like this, but you can have two sorters next to each other. That's it. Sand, meanwhile, is going down into this, and what it tries to do is it goes forward, then it goes to the side, and then it's not lead, so it can't go forward, so instead it goes to the side. So it goes bloop, and then bloop, bloop, it goes up again. So it lets it turn around. Defaultly, these outputs do not input behind, so instead it's doing this weird little roundabout thing. But anyways, what it's doing is it's loading sand and phase fabric into this, as well as thorium. It's putting 3 different types of items that goes back and forth. I'm not entirely sure how sorters work. I know routers, you can have stuff going left and right and also up and down, so I'm not sure exactly how it decides. I think sorters, you can actually have stuff coming from multiple directions, and there's like a capacity for each direction, I think is how it works. So I think that's why this works, but there's a ton of stuff moving through these little sorters right here. But it's kind of a clever little setup. I saw this online. People use this one a lot. This is one of the more... I did do some testing. The whole like side-by-side things like I do for silicone and stuff is pretty efficient. This overall works out pretty good. Just 2 full lines of... Oh, actually, what I want to do... Wait. I don't want to send it to the base yet. What I want to do is I want to launch it. I want Phantom Builder drones, but I don't have time. Okay, so this will launch phase fabric, and then I'll be able to get research. That'll allow me to do some cool things. Now, I got that going. I need to start making cyclones right away. I'm thinking Plastanium's going to be like the thing that I'm building, like I'm going to make Plastanium walls and such. I'm going to go ahead and replace these here shortly. So the 2 that I think that are pretty good for anti-air is the swarmers and the cyclones are all I have access to right now. There's also specters, but I think those are a surge alloy. Yeah, they're a surge alloy. And also 1,000 Plastanium to unlock it. Ugh. So I can't really afford that. Now Cyclones, on the other hand, are a Plastanium weapon, and I can load a couple different things into them. I'm going to be loading them with Plastanium as well, which does a little bit more damage. It does a little bit more abrupt damage, but it also has more explosive splash damage in a wider range. Also, this says 4 times air ammo multiplier, and this says only 2, so I'm not entirely... Well, is Plastanium even the best? I could do Blast Compound, I guess. I'm assuming it's getting better as it goes on. I don't know. I figure I'd just do Plastanium because I have it. Is it 6 damage, and then it does this much in addition to that? So it just does a slightly more primary damage? Is that what it means? Like, say it shoots and it does 25 damage, but then it does... Is it 6 plus 25? I guess that's probably what makes the most sense. So it does a little more damage to its primary target. This is going to be painful. I really need builder drones. Okay, fine. Let's do that. So what we can do is we go like this. You go... Bloop. Lead. Titanium. And what was the other one? Silicone? You know, actually, let's go ahead and make these further back, because I can always make more of them. Okay, so this is kind of excessive as far as the placement's kind of weird on these guys, but I need power like all the way over here too. Wow, I'm happy with this space. This is awesome. This is going to make Surge Ally so nice once I get to that point. So what these will do is they're steadily going to fill up with resources, and then they'll follow me around and help me build. Okay, level 26. I need to get here by wave 30. Is what my goal is. Okay, let's look at the different thingies. Thorium wall. Thorium has 3,200 life. Plastanium has 3,040. What do I have more of? Definitely Plastanium. Okay. I have more Plastanium than anything else. There we go. I think that's the minimal amount of stuff I can have that'll still work. So at some point these builder drones are going to come over here and they'll help me. Oh, this is going to be painful to make all these. Just the resource cost and the time. It's like, oh, so much. What is this? Titanium? Titanium is fine. Whatever. Copper. It's fine. As far as cost. Actually, I haven't made a bunch of a dent in my Plastanium yet at all. Whew. Okay, I guess I can think about this while I'm waiting for all this stuff to happen. Oh man, I still didn't get any builder drones. I was expecting to. Okay, I'm doing good so far. I need to get this Plastanium over here right now. Boom, boom. There we go. You don't want to have a conduit right next to something else like that, or you don't want to have a router right next to each other, and you don't want to have a router right next to one of these, ideally. It travels a little bit faster if you separate it a little bit more. So you want at least one space in between. So that's why this is fine, for example, having 2 spaces, but you don't want to have the router right next to it, so that's why I moved things around like that. And there's cryo fluid. Oh yeah, okay. Whew. Okay, wave 28, I'm getting there. Let's go check the Phantom Builder drones. Did I put the wrong resources in there, by the way? Or is that all good? What happened? We don't have power. What happened? Oh. Really? Fine. Okay. Now that I'm all the way done with that, I was trying to build them so that they'd help me with this so I could build it in time, but it's fine. Whatever. Okay, so now they're all going to get ammo. In fact, these guys are already full. This is great. So what I want to do is... I'm going to do something like this. Just say, if it's full of Plastanium, then send it to base. And I don't think that ground is a problem. Like, the ground's pretty cakewalk for the most part. I don't actually remember any ground being a problem. I'm actually kind of surprised that I'm surviving with just this defense. I still have 13k power, so I can do power as long as I want. So I might just... We have one more wave, and then... Oh yeah, see, now I have these builder drones here, finally. So this took them a while to get here, but it's okay. We got it. Okay, I'm paused so that I'm not leaking cryo fluid. Here we go. So I'm going to unpause. Meow. Actually, you don't even see these guys. Anyways, they help me build stuff. Alright, cryo fluid makes everything go even faster. So these guys charge really fast. Boom, 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 boom. Like, and here's the thing too, like, just these first few are firing, but all these guys haven't fired either. I think these guys actually, the little arcs actually do more burst damage than the Lancers do. I think. So, oh, actually, wait, check this out. I don't know why I didn't think about doing this earlier. Okay, so we get rid of this. And then put an overdrive projector right in the middle of all these. Yeah! So this increases the fire rate of all these guys. Like, a lot. Same thing over here. Let's go ahead and overdrive all these. Also, fun fact, we can send a little bit of phase fabric to them as well. Speaking of phase fabric. So we have a bunch of research now. Okay, so I've been launching all of this. In particular, I wanted to get a couple different things. We want the phase conveyor. So phase conveyors are kind of cool. What they do is they allow you to make little teleporty hologram conveyor floating through the air. You know this trick I've been doing with the like silicone and stuff where I load multiple things into a single router? Like this, how I have the coal going into one and I have the sand going into one router. Like that. You can do the same thing with phase conveyors. Phase conveyors are like overkill bridges. They're exactly, actually, that's exactly what they do. They work exactly like a bridge conveyor, except they go further. They cost 18 power to use, However, they also can input just like a router. So you can have, they hold the capacity of 2.5 full titanium conveyors. So they go really fast. So you can load 3 conveyors into it, and then you can unload 3 conveyors on the other side. And you can even do funny little things where you can go like from one phase conveyor to another, and then do another one. So you can do these like 90-degree turns, and you can go over walls like this and stuff. So it's kind of interesting. It costs a lot of power though, but as you've seen, I have a lot of power. So I can like get rid of a majority of these conveyors if I want to, and I can instantly teleport things like boom, boom, boom through the map. Okay, so this is all great. I can get rid of all these. So what this does is it increases the capacity of the base as long as I have this touching. A couple of reasons that it's cool. What I'm liking it for is the fact that it can allow me to unload from more spaces. I'm happy with it. So I have 3 whole things of titanium. I'm going to be using most of this actually to make surge alloy in a second. Okay, so these guys are finally helping me build at long last. So surge alloy is a pain in the butt. You need 3 copper, 4 lead, 2 titanium, and 1 silicone just to even get it to do anything. It's horrible. It's so expensive. So what we're going to do though, so 8 is about what you can support with like 3, you'll see what I mean, but 3 things going into it at once. This is all it can do. Oh, you know what I should do? Actually, here's what I should do. I should overdrive all my thorium. We'll overdrive my silicone production. Okay, so this should supply enough sand for all this. If not, I can just add more. In fact, whatever. Who cares? I don't even want to think about it. Ooh, okay, here's the boss. Here we go. Okay, so here's the deal. These guys are whatever. They're not a big deal. But then we have this guy. Now this guy's horrible. So he has homing missiles just like the swarmers do. He's pretty bad. And he will attack my builder drones, so I don't really want that to happen. I believe this boss actually runs away from wow, okay. Okay, that was effective. Oh, you know, I don't have power over here. Now, that boss, that actually worked really well. I guess I've never used Plastanium. Plastanium, that seemed like that did a lot of damage. I wonder... I'm surprised. I guess it says it does 15 damage, and this does 25, so maybe it really does that much more. So if this only did 20, and this guy did 31, that would make sense. It seemed like they died a lot faster than when I used Blast Compound, when I played with my friends on this mission before. I was surprised how fast he died. But yeah, that boss is rough. And what happens is, as you notice, the boss, like, once he gets hit with some of these attacks, he kind of, like, runs away. They kind of curve around, and then he just goes straight towards base. Like, just hangs out in this black area, and it's horrible. But what it does do, though, is it chases you. So if you, like, lure it over here and then run away, but it has homing missiles, so it's very easy to die. You die instantaneously, 1 shot from it, and you're dead. And again, the missiles are homing. They do have a limited range on them. Something you can do, though, it's kind of fun. That particular boss, you can, like, fly around it, kind of like these builder drones I'm doing right now. You can fly around the boss, and then stops him from doing stuff, too. Alright, so I've used, like, 7,000 power in the last little while. So that's a problem. But, okay, well, not necessarily a problem per se, but I'm just commenting that it's a thing. And then router. I only need 2 full conveyors of titanium to go through here. Okay, I finally got it doing what I wanted it to. That was extreme. So what I did is I told it to prioritize going to bottom, and then this one has less. And then I said if, and then it goes into this, spits out 2 things into this phase conduit, goes over here. If it's full, then go over and then come back to these conveyors. And I have these guys just going over temporarily. This costs power. This is actually not a very efficient way of doing this. But I do have, now all of my titanium is being routed to the base. So we can actually have silicone just route off of this. I need some silicone for the base though too. Maybe I'll just make more silicone? Boom, thermal pump. What you gonna do about it? That's the sound it makes, by the way. So this should theoretically spit it out forward and then left and right. I actually don't need these anymore. Okay, so what happens is I have it feeding coal into the middle here, and then it goes both directions. It's actually not... Okay, there we go. It's just filling up. I guess just to show the principle, though, even more, even though this is ridiculous. This is so overkill. A huge waste of power. But I have 10k, it doesn't matter. Just to show the principle of what I'm doing. And then, just to make everything even more crazy, overdrive projector! Okay, so we're making a whole bunch of silicone. Now this is not like as epic as it could be, but now check this out though too. So here's kind of a fun thing too. Now something you might not know about bridges is you can have multiple bridges going to the same one. So like you can do that with regular bridges too. So you go like this, so you can have this going a whole bunch of 90 degrees. Then you have one output. So you have a whole bunch of stuff going into these, and it spits it out over here. So you can do stuff like that. You can also do that with phase conduit. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually... So what I did is I just placed an armored conveyor. I haven't really talked about this so far. It's cost thorium. Armored conveyors, they have more health, and they don't blow up as bad, but the other thing they do is they stop things from spitting out from side to side. So if it's as part of the same conveyor, it'll keep doing its thing. So what I did is I made this corner a purple armored conveyor instead. It goes the same speed as a titanium conveyor. It's not any faster, but it stops this router from spitting out over here. What I told it to do is I told it to put half of the flow of this silicone into this phase conveyor, which spits it out over here. As soon as it gets inside this phase conveyor, it takes all the input of this, all the input of this, and makes it go over here. This guy says go forward, go left, go right, and it keeps hitting these overflow gates and spitting it out onto these conveyors. I'm noticing that this is filling up. So now what I did is I just made it so that these three go into this one, these three go into this one, which is excessive. This is super not power efficient. Like I've already used like another 1,000 in the last little bit, just making all these overdrive projectors and air blast drills and stuff. And all these extra, each one of these cost 18. So I've used several hundred in the last little bit just doing this. But again, power doesn't matter, and I can always make more. There's air units. Watch how fast they blow up. It's a splash anyway. Actually, what kind of ground units do we have now? Just so I'm curious. Oh man, they still only have 4 of these guys. Like I think several waves ago they had just this many. Boom. This, so I still have middle. I can do, nope, actually that's bad. See, these were fine because they're coming from the side. This comes from the side, so it goes up and forward. In this case it works because this is the first one in this chain. This one worked because it's going down, it's going left and right. If I go down to up, then it's not going to go backwards, if that makes sense. It can only go left, right, and forward. So I don't want to put copper right here. I can do like this. This would work. Unloaders will unload stuff onto it, but they will also, well, they only do like 3/4 of a conveyor belt's worth of stuff. They don't actually do a full titanium conveyor's worth. So what I just did is I told it to make 4 of them, because each one of these does about 3/4 of a one. What I want is I want 3 full conveyors worth of copper. Okay, here we go. We're finally making it. Power, copper. Oh, it doesn't have copper. Oh, right. I did this wrong again. That was silly of me. Okay, so what happened here is I told it to go to the left, and then it's spitting out all this lead. And it's putting it out so fast because it's putting, again, 3 full conveyor belts of lead is what it's putting onto here. So it's making a whole bunch of this stuff. Now realize, like, what this means though is that my dudes are going like nuts on this. I might even lose a bunch. They've been mining for the last little while actually because I increased the capacity of my base. I can now have up to like 17k or 21k or something like that. I'm not actually sure. A lot. So they're just going to keep going back and forth, mining whatever one is lowest. I don't think it'll be a problem. I think I have enough of these guys, but I might even have to build more drones because I have so much is going out. Again, I have 3 conveyors of lead going out right now and 3 of copper. However, these guys, you can see it in the bottom right corner. It says I need 3 copper, 4 lead. So I need a little bit more lead than I need copper. The other 2 are like okay. The problem is I'm not getting a lot of silicone anymore. So I just need more coal and then it will produce more silicone. So let's like route oil over here. So now I'm making more coal. And I can overdrive that if I like. I could just route all of my silicone over, but it'd make more sense just to increase my production. Okay, so we have dual silicone going on, say like this. If I go boom, I have power, so like whatever, I can do whatever I want with power. So here's what I was talking about before too. You can do this with regular bridges too. So right now I'm just bridging multiple times. So one of the reasons that's cool is because it's going to stop silicone from getting onto this line. It forces it to go over. So instead of an output, this becomes an input instead. So I just bridged a whole bunch of times. That's another way of rounding corners. Like I could have done that through here too, I just didn't feel like messing with it. Okay, so I've used a lot of power. I only have 8,000 remaining, which is kind of rough. Okay, so this is all going over here now. Oh no, it's putting coal in it. When did that happen? It's probably over here. I probably screwed something up. You know, actually, let's look over here. It's right next to a drill or something. This all looks okay. Because chances are there's probably more in there somewhere. Yep, like that. You know, actually, you can just pick it up. Okay, did I break something? Okay, coal goes up through here. Boom, boom, boom. Silicone. Oh, right here. This is where the problem is. I'm silly. Ugh. Okay, let's cancel this. Boom, boom. Ah, that was silly of me. So it was touching, my phase conveyor was touching the coal centrifuge. Problem is, it's like this whole length is going to be filled. I hate to do that. Like, it's such a waste of titanium. What am I running out of now? Lead? I don't have enough lead? So here's a fun thing I can do too. Let's check this out. So I can also just, I can't have it in the same phase conveyor, I don't think. Maybe I can. I'm pretty sure I've done this before, and this was a perfect flow, is to have enough lead. So I think I can just do more unloaders. Pretty sure you can have 8, maybe not. But yeah, I'm running out of lead is my problem. Maybe it's because it's overdrive driven. I don't think so. Well, whatever. It's still giving me a lot. How much surge alloy do I have? 2k? That is nowhere near enough. So the problem is, like you look at these. So like Spectre cost 1,530 surge alloy to research. That's a lot. This one cost 2,000 surge alloy. So I need a lot of surge alloy. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just get all that stuff in one go. All this research. So I'm just trying to make a whole ton of surge alloy. By the way, phase conduit. Yeah, transport liquids over distance. Which is awesome. There's actually not that much. A lot of it's offensive stuff. I also have some more thorium I need, but that's fine. We'll get it at the end of the mission. Alright, so I did all the phase research just because it was useful for this. But I'm just going to chill. Now, at the end of 40, we're going to have a boss over here. So I'm pretty much done with this mission. All I'm doing at this point is I'm just trying to get more surge alloy. The only other things I could do is I could increase my power. My power is actually getting a little bit scary. So I guess I'll increase this. Oh, yeah. Now, another fun thing you can do, too, is you can use phase fabric to boost overdrive projectors. Now, overdrive projectors defaultly increase the effectiveness of things, I think, by 150% or something. Give them phase fabric, they increase it by another 75%. And it also increases the range of them. That's particularly useful for defenses, I think, but you can also use it to do things like boost power. As you saw, when I added overdrive projectors earlier to this power system, it increased the power I had by a lot. Also, fun fact, as long as we're talking about power, I also have a schematic for, some of my schematics are duplicated. What's happening is I'm switching my profiles back and forth from one profile to another. I have one I'm playing with my friends and one I'm playing here, and I have different titled schematics on each profile, and it's duplicating them over time. So, like, I don't know. It's irritating. Well, actually, I should clarify. I erased my data so I could play with them, and then what happened was that it replaced all my stuff. So I got rid of all my schematics. So then I duplicated. I popped them down on the ground, joined their game, and then I was like, okay, like, let me copy all these. So I did real quick. And then what happened is once I reloaded my other profile, now I have duplicates of everything. I think if I went through and I retitled them so they were all the same title, I think it wouldn't duplicate them anymore. Anyways, what I wanted to show here is I have the schematic right here. Now this is another type of generator you can make. What it is it's water extractors, which is giving water to cultivators, which puts them in a spore press. So these make spores. This puts it in a spore press. Spore press turns it into oil, which turns it into coal using a coal centrifuge. And then water next to steam engine, or steam reactors, whatever. So this is another one of those examples of power you can get out of nothing. It's kind of interesting. So how this works is it needs 1,000 power to get fired up, and then once it takes it a second for it to start doing its thing. And then now it starts to burn coal here in a second. Bloop, 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 bloop. And then you can disconnect it if you want. So you have like some power source to get it going. So say you burn some coal with you know, like how I did before. I burned coal just to get it going, and then I was able to get this all going. This is just better power overall is why I did this. But funny thing about this costs just a little bit of graphite and silicone, and then you can just make this. You can throw this anywhere. It just takes space. So as long as you have the raw resources, this just gives you power. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect it, but the reason I wanted to point it out is because if you have a bunch of space like up here, whatever, you know, up here you're not using, you can just go ahead and throw some of those down when you have extra resources, and you get extra power. That's more of an early game trick. So if you get a lot of graphite and silicone early, you can do that. It also, I think it costs like 50 titanium. A lot of times there's stuff on map where you can just dismantle it or whatever real quick, and that'll give you a little boost early on. Oh, 41. I thought there was a boss wave sometime around here. Okay, so what this does too, see, armored conveyors are awesome. So what I did is I told it to not spit everything out to this side. So if I'm full on titanium, it's putting it in here, and then that'll launch it every once in a while. Alright, so that should take care of everything except for metaglass. Which I should have a lot of metaglass, so I'm not really worried about it. Copper and lead are getting down to 14k. 17k is my max. I think it's actually just been steadily going up. These guys have been mining back and forth over and over again. I think I'm steadily getting it back, is what's happening. Man, this 100 or 200 some power over here is being wasted. It's not actually being part of the grid. I should merge it with all this because I'm running low on power. I'm using power right now, but I could replace these all with like Plastanium weapons too. I could just make all of these cyclones or something else too. But power is fine. Like, this is not having any issues. I guess something else I could do. I haven't made... Oh, alpha mech pad. I don't really have a lot of mechs, do I? I guess they're just down this tree. Just took thorium. Okay, there's a bunch of mechs you can turn into. They're kind of an endgame thing. But I was debating about changing out my guy for something else. Alpha is a ground unit, though. That's not what I want to use. Little explosive guys. I wonder if their explosions will kill my builder drones. Looks like it. They take damage sounds, so that makes sense. Alright, I could go ahead and make another whole row of cyclones. So part of the thought, too, with any other launched resources, the reason that you want to do that is because you can start missions with resources. I think you can even start missions that are custom ones that are on the Steam Workshop, and you can start with a whole bunch of these. Now, I think defaultly you can only start with like 4,000 on most missions, because that's the capacity of your core. But you can start with 4,000 of phase fabric and surge alloy, so you can have like these conveyors at the very beginning, for example, which is pretty crazy. And you can also like start off your defense by making cyclones even. You don't have the right resources for them. In fact, can you even do... You can do metaglass. So if you rushed for metaglass at the beginning, but you built cyclones... Ooh, there's 2 bosses now, I think? Okay, this is where things get kind of nasty. Now, the only other thing that I could do to boost things even further is I could make, whatever it's called. I could make mechs, whatever, that attack them. Wow. Okay, Plastanium's the way to go. Plastanium ammo compared to blast compound. It's so good. Wow. I mean, it says it's better, I just didn't really appreciate it. Wow, I can't even express how much more damage this does. It feels like it's twice as much damage as blast compound. I was looking at this, it said 4 times ammo multiplier, so I just thought, oh, so it's actually like, is it 4 of these or something? I don't understand, but regardless, this is definitely more damage just from personal experience right now. That's crazy. I killed them so fast. You know how they like went over and then they ran away again? I had to do that when this is blast compound and I had 2 more layers of these guys. They went back and forth like, those 2 bosses went back and forth like 5 or 6 times and they'd run away. So then they kept coming back and they blew up my walls and blew up a couple of the cyclones and I had to rebuild them. So they didn't do that at all this time. I kind of find these lancers funny. They're like, wha-boom! Sort of what's cool about them too is because they don't have ammo, I don't need to have stuff on both sides. I just have cryo fluid. In fact, this is actually that's a good point. This is kind of not... Well, I don't know. Maybe it's fine. I was gonna say, like, I could have, like, cryo fluid on the next stage over and then have towers up higher, but I can't really get much higher than this, so it's fine. Well, the only other thing I could do is I could have, like, more anti-ground stuff, ripples or something over here, but I don't think that's necessary. Kind of the only other thing I could do is I can increase my Plastanium. I could go like this, overdrive it. I could almost use a little bit more. Let's go ahead and do that. Put a pump on it. Give it another 48 units. Well, not even that. It's 24 because it's only 2 blocks or 2 things a puddle. This doesn't fully cover it up. I guess what I could do, actually, let's do this. Man, these guys sure build fast. Weird. I didn't know you could... That's kind of a weird mechanic there. So you can build while still holding left click before I've released it. You can do that. Or using the scroll wheel. It's weird. I didn't know that was a thing. Alright, so outputs of bridges will automatically go side to side as well, so this is feeding this one, but... Right. Okay, I can launch now. I think I probably will. There's not really much else I want to do on this. I'm curious what my power is. Still at about 10k. But you can see, like, I made so much power. I don't actually know. If I were to disconnect everything, I don't know how much this would generate. I guess I could do that real quick. I could just, like, disconnect these 2 right before I launch and just see how much power I have just for kicks. It would break everything in the world. So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till the last a couple seconds of this, just so I get, I mean, yeah, 9K is awesome. So this 3K of phase fabric. I almost could have done that. That's probably what I should have done. I should have like made more phase fabric because I have a bunch of lead I'm not even using. So if I had mined a bunch of lead and sent it over, or no, thorium is what it was. Right. Oh, by the way, I was going to do this. Oh, I forgot. I was going to go like this. Boo. I was going to do that this whole time, and I forgot. I was maybe even going to... I was working on... I see I made a dual belts over here. I was going to have another one. Anyways, I should have done that. Should have gotten a little bit more thorium. And I could have even... See, here's kind of the funny thing. So you use thorium and sand to make phase fabric. If you take some of that phase fabric and put it into the overdrive projector that's mining the thorium, you get more thorium so you can make more phase fabric. It's kind of this weird thing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect all these just for a sec. What is the power? Okay, 26,000 power is how much I actually generated. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty decent amount of power. So I'm really happy with this whole oil thing. That was great. I like it a lot. All right, we're going to go ahead and launch. Sure you want to launch? Yeah. Kaboosh. Alright, 10K of Surge Alloy. Rank SS. Alright, we have all kinds of stuff. So, let's go in here and get the remaining things. Okay, to explain the new things that we just got, I was just unlocking everything. We got these surge walls. These ones are kind of cool. What they do is they explode or whatever when they build up a charge, which is kind of interesting. They're like, if guys are getting really close to the wall, this is cool. I feel like these ones are better though, because what these guys do, they have less health, but they reflect a lot of bullets. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So even though they have less health, they don't take as much damage. So it's kind of interesting. But the reason they're cool is because menders only give you a set amount of... see, menders give you a set amount of healing per second. It's not based on percentage. It gives you a flat amount of healing. So what's cool about that is that these guys, because they have less health, they have like 2,600, I think, off the top of my head. 2,400 off the top of my head. So there you go. So 2,400, they cost phase fabric, but because they have less health, menders heal a larger portion of their health when they do heal. So surge walls, even though they have more total health, it takes longer to heal them, which is kind of a weird reasoning, but anyways, point being, we found that, my friends and I found that these take pretty similar amounts of damage, honestly. They're just alternatives. Basically, this is better for guys that are close up, this is better for guys that are at range, is kind of what we found. The funny thing about that is the bullets that they shoot reflect back at them and they end up killing themselves. So it's kind of this interesting thing though too. If they all unload on a wall, they're like blah, and it smacks back into them. Alright, so then, and also I think this can be combined with a force projector, which I haven't used, but it makes a shield that absorbs incoming damage. I think it's like it does damage as it hits the wall. But anyways, this in combination with a force projector is really good. I think this guy in combination with a force projector doesn't really change too much. It doesn't really help. But this guy makes a huge difference, in my opinion anyways. Well, I don't know. They both suck up damage, I guess, and reflect it back in different ways. So I don't know. Different things. So we have an oil extractor now, which will... you can put sand into it to make oil. So put sand and water into this to make oil. There's a bunch of funny generators you can make with this. I have that oil generator I made. There's a less powerful version of that also uses this. This costs a little bit of thorium, but you can then generate infinite power that way as well. Basically, it just costs a little bit of sand, which is no problem at all. Other things, what else is cool? We have thermal pumps now, which is awesome. It just pumps really fast. There is plated conduit, which doesn't accept liquids from the sides. This is very useful if you want to have like cryofluid next to like a water extractor, for example, and you don't want to put water in your pipes because it will put it into this one. This is a nice way you can do that. You can also teleport water around using phase conduits now, which is awesome. Other interesting things. So we have these two guys, or these three guys, I guess. I didn't even use this one. Thorium. We actually did have a lot of titanium to make cryofluids, so that would have been worthwhile, but we didn't have so much thorium. I was trying to save it all, so I did not actually end up doing this. But maps that have a lot of thorium, you can make a lot of power with it. It's not really the ultimate power in the world, it's pretty good, so that's alright. Impact Reactor. Now this is the most advanced generator, and it's amazing. This guy is kind of crazy. You can get like, you can easily get 16k power, no problem. I think you can even get 100k power without too much, I think, off the top of my head. I'm actually not sure. But regardless, so this makes 1,500 each. You can get a setup where you're making 12 of them at a time, and I have some schematics for that, and it's amazing. Yeah, so it costs this much just to get started. It makes 7,800. Yeah, right. Okay, so we can get up to 100k. Part of the reason for that is because you can overdrive it. So you get an overdrive projector, you put phase fabric into it, which makes everything around it 225% better. So it makes this way higher for each one of these, and you have 12 of these going, so you have power like crazy. This is very difficult to maintain. You have to have a lot of cryofluids, a lot of titanium. In fact, you need, if you're going to have that many anyways, which is kind of crazy. Most people only have like 2 or 3 or whatever of these things. I'm talking about having 12 of them, which is nuts. The fun thing about having power, as you saw this last mission, power let me do all kinds of crazy stuff. I could teleport everything around. I didn't even go crazy with all my teleporting of items around. There's more crazy stuff you can do with that. Also, once you have more resources and you can just like build resources out of thin air, you can also make a lot of guys. I didn't actually do that, and I was talking about that a little bit. One other thing I could have done for defense purposes, I could make attack mechs, different kinds. So in particular, I think the Revenant is pretty cool because it's air, so it flies over your defense. So both your defense and this is attacking at the same time. As opposed to your mechs, like you saw like a couple levels back, I made some daggers and they just like ran in front and they all blew up and it wasted a whole bunch of silicone. So these guys cost a lot though. They cost 40 silicone and 30 titanium. So I didn't do that on this map because I was using all of my silicone. I almost needed more, actually. I think I did need more. That was my bottleneck. Well, that and lead, I guess. So regardless, this would have been another thing I could have done. I didn't do it this map because I didn't have the chance to. Now we have all these other mechs we can turn into. I won't talk about them so much in this map. We will be doing offense missions here soon, and then we will do a whole bunch of those, and it'll be great. I used unloaders some in this map, so you saw what that did. The vault was kind of cool. It allowed us to expand the capacity of our main base, which is pretty cool. Other new items, we have the mass driver. Mass driver is pretty cool. What it does is it lets you shoot items a great distance. I'm not sure on the exact distance on this. It's pretty far though, but it allows you to shoot stuff like, I don't know, like you saw the distance that a phase conveyor was. This shoots about 2 or 3 times as far, and it can shoot diagonally and stuff like that. It does cost power. There's actually some tricks to not using as much power with it that I will explain once we get into the next mission. New towers. We finally have, I didn't use fuses this time, but this is like a short-range shotgun-y type attack, and it costs graphite. So I feel like this is almost more, like you have to have thorium to build it, but I feel like it's almost more of a lower tier tower myself, kind of. I think that actually the DPS is higher, but it's like an upgraded version of the Scorch, basically, I think. Actually, it probably is. It makes a lot of sense. The Scorch is just coal. Well, it can also use pyrotite, I guess. Scorch, by the way, is supposedly some of the highest DPS in the game. It does more burst damage, but you run out of coal very fast with this. Let's see here. And then we got the Spectre. The Spectre is it's a lot like the Cyclone. It's just a higher tier one, but it's 4x4, so it's a really, really large tower, and it does a lot of damage. It doesn't have options for like Plastanium and stuff for ammo though, which is kind of interesting. I do think Cyclones are great though. Alright, so that is kind of the end of this mission. That was level 7. Alright, so we're going to continue on. We've unlocked several different things. So we've unlocked this guy, finally we reached level 20 on that guy, so we've unlocked Desolate Rifts. Now this is a pretty difficult mission. This is an attack mission, and as well as all of these guys are. We're going to do all these ones. I completed all these different objectives